Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another field strip video. And this field strip video is on a really rare and cool gun, especially if you like guns from the 1980s. This is a civilian semi-automatic version of the SITES Spectre, which was an Italian submachine gun. I believe there was less than 3,000 of these that were ever imported back in the late 80s and early 90s. Most of them were in 9mm. Very few of them were in 45, which is what this example is. And I guess the rarest variant was the ones in 40 because that was towards the end of the production line. So just a really rare and cool gun, but because it is direct blowback, it is really easy to field strip and clean. And we're going to show you that today. We're going to start off by dropping the magazine. And we're going to ensure that there is no ammunition. It looks like we are good. We will then pull back on the charging handle, which is on the top. And of course, we will ensure that the gun is empty. We will visually inspect that chamber. Looks like we are good. We will then drop the hammer. We're going to use this decocker right here. Drop the hammer. And now we're going to take out this pin right here. So we're going to go to this side of the gun, and there's a little clip, and we're going to pull that clip and put it into the up position. Now this pin is a lanyard loop and the disassembly pin, so it serves two purposes. And make sure that you're very careful with this because there are no replacement parts. This company has been out of business for some time. So when that clip is up just like that, you should be able to pull this pin all the way through just like that. Then we're going to push in on the end plate, and that will allow us to drop the lower receiver from the upper. So we're going to push in on this end plate right here, push in with my thumb, and now I can drop the lower receiver off. There's our lower receiver, all the little trigger parts in there. Set that aside. Then this little thing here is a tab where the rear sight is, and all we have to do is push down on this, and this lever comes up, and that will allow you to take out the recoil spring assembly and the end plate. So hold on to that end plate because it could be under a little bit of tension. We're going to push down on that and then release it, and there we go. So there is the end plate with the recoil spring assembly, just like that. It's two recoil springs. Then we should be able to pull the bolt right out. It should slide right out. Once again, we'll push down on that lever, and it's in two pieces. We have this little piece right here, and then we have the main bolt. And that's it. That is a completely field stripped SITES Spectre chambered in 45. What a simple gun. Once you have it apart, obviously you can get into that receiver there, really clean it out. Being direct blowback, it probably gets a lot of gunk and grime and carbon back in there, but that's as far as you need to take this thing down. Such a simple design. You can see how it is made of folded sheet metal. It's still pretty beefy and heavy. This thing was definitely a robust gun, and I can tell you from shooting it, it's quite a good shooting gun as well. It really surprised me. So I can only imagine how awesome it would be if one of these was SBR'd with a stock. But yeah, these are really, really cool. I'm really impressed with them. And obviously this is the gun that B&T used as the base for their KH9. So there you go. That is the field strip. So now let me clean this gun up and let's put it back together. All right, so here we go. We got the gun all cleaned up and oiled, and in case you were wondering, I did put a little bit of oil in the upper receiver and on the contact points of the bolt. Let's go ahead and start reassembling this by putting the bolt in the upper receiver. You want to make sure, of course, that the bolt face is facing the correct direction. We will push up on that lever, slide that in. Then this other part of the bolt, you want to make sure on the bottom, you see you have a little lever right here. This empty space is going to be facing the forward part of the firearm. We will slide it in just like that. Then we'll take the end plate and the two springs. We'll put on the narrow spring first. Then we will put on the larger outer spring, slide that all the way over. We will then insert that into the receiver, and there are some holes in the bolt where those springs will slide through. And it will go on just like that. And then you want to make sure that this area right here that has a little clip is in the upward direction. We will then, once again, lift up on that latch, put that forward, close that latch, and now the bolt and recoil spring assembly is back in the firearm. The next thing we're going to do, of course, is put on the lower receiver. We will put that on the front first, and then, like before, I said you have to push in this end plate, and then the upper receiver will allow the lower receiver to be slid on. So I push that in, that goes up, I release the end plate, that is locked in place. Then we have our pin. Once again, make sure that this little spring is upward like that. We can then push that through the receiver, and then once it is all the way through, we push that back down. That will lock it into place and not allow that pin to come back out. Of course, we will check the gun for function. Let's pull that trigger. We are good to go there. And then, of course, insert the magazine. And there you go. That is a completely field stripped and reassembled SITES Specter chambered in 45. What a rare and cool gun, but very, very simple. So there you go. So I hope this helps somebody in the future, whether you own one of these and want to know how to get it apart, or you're just interested in gun mechanics and how they work. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.